All right. Sober October interview number 1, Rita Lopes, Shimmel, coming to us from New Hampshire.
Yes, New Hampshire now.
All right, New Hampshire now. Last time we tried this, it was Portugal. A
Yeah,
little more exotic, but New Hampshire's still cool. Um,
a
you give,
little warmer.
yeah, give us your name and a little bit about yourself, where you grew up.
Yeah, my name is Rita Lopes Shimmel. I grew up in Sintra, which is a town that is 40 kilometers far from Lisbon, north of Lisbon in Portugal. And I am a landscape architect. And what else?
That's good to start us off. Just kind of give us an idea of who you are. So let's dive right in, and we'll talk about what changed your life. What made you focus on your health and wellness? What was that pivotal moment?
So 2 years ago, I flew from the US to Portugal, and I stayed at my hometown in Sintra, and I slept there for the night because of the jet lag. And then I drove, the next day I drove to the south of Portugal, and all the way I was feeling so dizzy, so tired, with a weird vertigo that I thought, wow, the jet lag this time was really hard. So I kept on like pulling over and drinking water and like trying not to fall asleep, and I thought that all of the feelings I was having were from the jet lag. And then it kept happening, and it kept getting worse, to a point I had to stop after coming from work at night in a highway, thinking I was gonna have a heart attack or something. And I called my brother, and I was like, I just feel horrible. Like, I think something is gonna happen to me. I'm in this place, I'm not gonna get out of here. Like, call an ambulance and come meet me because I'm gonna pass out.
Holy crap. So that's a real life-changing moment. That's a very direct on the note. So what ended up being the problem?
So like after a year and a half of trying to understand what it was, with lots of different diagnoses, they finally came to the conclusion that I had vestibular migraines. So for those that don't know what is a vestibular migraine, it's like a type of migraine that it's related to. So all the vestibular diseases are connected to your inner ear. That gives you balance and allows you to, walk and do everything you are able to do and hear, and so it's like a type of migraine that gives you a lot of weird symptoms that might not be just headaches. So it's vertigo, dizziness, nausea, like a buzz in your ears, all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah, wow.
That was the moment that kind of like, I need to do something about my health.
Okay, so you hit that wall, and that's not something that a lot of people are gonna have to deal with, but you use that as a catalyst into the health regime that you now follow. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so it wasn't immediate. Like I have vestibular migraines, I need to change my diet. No, I went to a doctor, and we were going through all sorts of treatments I could do, and this doctor is not very in favor of taking medication. So his approach is like, well, we see that the sleep routine has a big influence on the vestibular migraines. We also see that the diet has a major influence on these. So we're gonna study your sleep, we're gonna change your diet, and then after that, if you tell me you still can't handle and you need medication, then we'll decide what to do.
Okay, so what is a sleep routine that would be beneficial or is beneficial to you?
So it needs to be constant. So you need to always sleep the same amount of hours, go to bed at the same time, and wake up at the same time. So build up a routine. Because people who have vestibular migraines, every time you change your routine, if like during the weekend you get to sleep more, it might trigger the vertigo, just because it just like got out of what you're used to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so easy way. Well, I guess it's not easy because keeping a sleep routine is never easy. I think we all know that, but
yeah,
that's one way you've dealt with it. And another point is your diet.
Yeah. So my first appointment with him, he gave me a huge list of things I was not allowed to eat. And I was like, wow, what can I eat from here? Because what they're trying to do is they come to the conclusion that caffeine has a huge influence. It triggers a lot these vertigo attacks. Yeah. So alcohol, yeah. And they try to do, I don't know how you say this word, I think it's like tyramide or tyramide, which is like something that it's in a lot of types of foods. It's in fermented things, it's in cheeses, old age foods, it's in red wine, it's in a lot of things. So they take it out, all of that.
How do you spell that? I'd like to look more into that.
Tyramine. Yeah.
Tyramine. Okay.
Tyramine.
That's fascinating. So you cut out anything that has tyramine.
Yeah, which is like a huge list. Basically, like all cheeses and prosciuttos and hams and yogurt and fermented things. The bread, for instance, it cannot be fresh bread. You can eat it 24 hours after. When the yeast, it's not making the same effect as when because yeast is not very good for you too, and a lot of things.
We all eat a lot of yeast.
Yeah, chocolate because it has caffeine, and I guess you have there added sugars. There's not really anything specific on sugars, but there is in like processed foods. So everything that it's refined sugars, I try to take it out.
Okay, and explain how you feel now versus that year and a half where you're trying to spend figuring out your symptoms and causes.
It's amazing. Like I don't have the migraines I used to have anymore, because I always had those strong migraines, like the headaches. Yeah. But I don't have them as often. Did
you have those before you had this one episode when you were
Yeah. And what they say is that this is a chronic disease, and they don't really get how it shows up. Like they don't really understand it very well. But I probably always had it since I was born, because I had migraines, and I just kept having a very unhealthy lifestyle, because I'm an architect. Architects work a crazy amount of hours, so lots of like all-nighters and eating junk food and not exercising every day, which is also very good for me. And like, because when you have this problem, you always have to like challenge yourself to be. So when you have a crazy vertigo attack, you are like, you know how to center yourself, like how to balance yourself. I did a lot of physiotherapy on like if I don't know where the ground is, I know how to like center myself to the ground so that I don't fall. Or
I think a lot of people don't understand how difficult that is, because not having that balance in your ear kind of makes even your world perception different, right? Like you don't see the floor as straight, and you can't find out where to step next. You can't relay that information from your eyes down to your feet and your hips and your knees.
Yeah, you kind of like, it's very hard because it's a disease that you can't see, so apparently you're fine, everything is good with you, but it conditions your life so much. You depend on people for everything. Like I don't do long drives anymore because it's very hard for me. So things like that, or driving on highways, I did a lot of physiotherapy for it too. And they want me to keep challenging myself to do it. But this disease also brings a lot of anxiety attacks and stuff like that, because you never know when the thing can happen. And you're always like, well, what if it happens while I'm driving? And I can injure somebody else because I can't control, I'm like not able to control the car. Or so like driving on highways and having that the cars just passing through me very, very fast. I cannot understand if it's my body that is moving, if I'm stopped and like the objects are passing very fast. So
incredibly complex disease.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I'm glad that mine, it's not really crazy, because all the people that I've came to meet since I know that I have these, there's some people who have it really, really bad. That they really have to go on like hard medication for. And I hope.
Do they follow a similar exercise health routine as you, and they still have?
Yeah, and they do like how do you say, when you like, they do things like magnesium and other stuff to help out, and they do heavy medication. And still sometimes there's people who can't stand like different types of light, different types of smells that trigger the attacks, everything that stimulates your vision and your ears and your nose, it can trigger an attack. And I'm glad I don't have it like that.
Jeez. Well, that's incredible. And thank you for sharing so much so far. Last question. So we talked about this before, but could you explain who would you like to see give a TED Talk on the migraines?
I think I told you the Dizzy Cook.
The Dizzy Cook, yes.
There's a girl that has a blog, and she just released a cooking book with recipes that are migraine safe. And yeah, I think she does know a lot. She did a lot of research herself, because I think her situation is even worse than mine, her symptoms. And it's one of the persons that I like reach out and like ask, and like I just discovered that I had these, I don't know nothing about it, and she was always like there to answer questions. And yeah, I think she also writes for the American Association of Vestibular Disorders, a lot of articles. Yeah.
Okay, so that's who your support is, and I would love to hear that TED Talk as well. That would be very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to share with anybody through this channel?
I think if anybody decides to do a clean diet, you should go for it, and think like the final goal whenever you're really like, I really need caffeine or alcohol, just think about the other side, the benefits of the other side.
All right, that's a great tip. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
I don't know.
Bye.
Bye, Rita.